Hi, I'm a gamer's wife, and today I'm doing the Google autocomplete challenge for Marimo Moss Balls. So I typed in Marimo Moss Ball into Google and answered the top 14 questions that popped up. Well, technically the last question is something that I was personally curious about, so you have to stick to the end to find out what that was. All right, first question we have up is, what Marimo Moss Ball? What are Marimo Moss Balls? So basically this is a velvety algae ball that is found in lakes, at the bottom of lakes in Japan and Iceland, and they basically get that round shape from being rolled around by the lake's waves. You can buy them anywhere, usually in pet stores. They're one of the easiest aquarium plants that you can buy on the market. Next board. All right, our next board is how Marimo Moss Ball. So, what does it say? How do you keep moss balls alive? Okay, good question. Basic. It's really easy. They like cooler waters. 78 degrees, 80 degrees Fahrenheit is probably on the upper end. Definitely low to medium light. Don't want to put them in direct sunlight. They'll burn. Change the water every once in a while. Don't want it to get murky. And then when you do, I like to squeeze the ball and roll it around a little bit so it keeps that spherical shape. How come my moss ball is floating? Okay, that's a good question. So oftentimes when you get a new moss ball, it's got some air bubbles trapped inside of it. So just squeeze those bubbles out and eventually you should sink, if not immediately, within 1 to 2 days. Next board. Can Marimo Moss Ball? Can Marimo die? Yes, it can die. I said this plant is nearly indestructible, but if you see it turning like white in certain parts, it's getting too much light probably. So take it out of the direct sunlight, put it under some shady areas, and it should recover pretty quickly. If it's brown, it could be just really dirty from collecting detritus, or sometimes if you don't turn your Marimo Moss Ball every once in a while, the brown side is the side covered by the ground, so it's not getting any light. And then last on the page is, can you cut moss ball in half? Yes, that is actually how you propagate it, at least in the aquarium hobby. You just break it into a couple pieces and then you can tie them with sewing thread so they keep that round shape until they form their new little ball. But honestly, it takes so long to grow a Marimo Moss Ball that I just buy another one. Other ways you can play with it is to break apart, unroll the Marimo Moss Ball, and you can use it as a carpet on the ground. You gotta find some way to weigh it down. Or Serpa Design actually used they made a little moss tree out of sticks and then put it on top to act as a lead. So really cool. Check out his tutorial. Next page. And the final bonus question. So this did not turn up in the top listed questions, but I actually wanted to know, are Cladophora, algae, and Marimo the same thing? So thankfully they are not the same thing, and where the confusion comes in is Marimo Moss Balls used to be classified as a Cladophora algae, but then scientists looked at the DNA, found chitin in the Marimo Moss Ball cell structure, which is not true of the Cladophora genus. So they do not cause it. They are not the same thing as that pesky filament, green filament algae that you'll get in tanks. So you can safely buy Marimo Moss Balls and not have a problem with that. Huge thanks to Jim Smith for becoming the latest patron on Patreon. It's because of supporters like him that I was able to afford my first ever photography lights, which you can kind of see reflected in my sunglasses here, and not rely on the sunlight coming from my daughter's window. Take time to enjoy your aquariums, and I'll see you in the next video.